So for this lesson, I'm going to show you how to do a number of different things, including creating some matte effects, um, doing the color key like we've done before, as well as how to layer and add multiple different filters. So we're going to start by making sure that you go to the YouTube New Media Arts Murrow High School video channel, and you're going to go to one of the playlists, and there's a link for clips, video clips for lessons, and in there you're going to load some break dancers on a white background. You can load that, a ballerina. Try to get a couple of the dancers and the psychedelic swirls background. You can load them, again, doing the YouTube to MP4 conversion. Load them and save them into a folder, a project folder that you named Dance inside your projects folder on your desktop. Once you've got those videos loaded, you're going to create a new project, file new project, and you're going to save that project as your name Dance to your projects folder. Where you've made a folder called Dance and saved all of those video clips. Save. All right, once you've got your project saved, you're going to import those video clips, File, Import Files, navigate to your projects folder, import each of the different videos, and then you're going to start by actually creating a text document. We're going to click down here where there's a little A with a film strip. Click that, click text, and text again. And in your viewer, you should see it say sample text. You're going to go hit the Control tab, and you're going to write the word dance in capitals. Come back to video. You'll see where it says dance. You're going to click, hold, and drag that down to the video layer 1 in your timeline, making sure that the arrow is pointing down. Let go, and now you've got dance. Okay. Double click on that text layer, then come up to the controls panel, and you can play around with the size. You're going to want the dance to be fairly big, and you can also pick a font that looks interesting to you. Something preferably that's really bold, not something like this that's thin. You want to find one that has like a really bold, wide area, because what we're going to do is you're going to be able to see through the text. So something like that that's really big, fat, bold. Okay. Once you've found a big, bold text, you're going to then drag your psychedelics twirls background over, and you're going to place it on top of video 1 layer. Okay, you do this by dragging it over. When it's grayed just above and the arrow is pointing down, you can let go of that layer. Okay. In order to see all of the clips that you have in one timeline, hitting Shift Z allows you, or by clicking in the timeline, hitting Shift Z, now I can see the length of all my clips in here. So we've got a long bit of this psychedelic background, but don't worry about that, we'll trim that later. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is come back to the text over here. We're going to trim this down a little bit by holding on the side and just dragging over, trimming it down so that the play time is not super long. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our razor blade tool, and we're going to trim the edge of this background right here and clip it right at the edge of the text. Okay. Then we're going to click on the select arrow and we're going to drag this remaining amount up and drop it onto a third layer so that it's just directly after where we just cut it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to click, hold, and drag to trim the other way so that we have a bit of this psychedelic swirls layer coming back across. All right, now next thing we're going to do is on this psychedelic swirl layer, you're going to double click that, and then you're going to click, hold down the control key, click, and where it says clip enabled, right, we're going to make sure that that's selected, and then where it says composite mode, we're going to come over and we're going to change it to travel matte alpha. When we do that, you should notice that the dance now is reflected up through the background layer. Now we're going to shift over, we're going to click in the psychedelic swirls background, and we're going to have this fade in. So we're going to come down here where the toggle clip overlays button, we're going to click that, and then we're going to click the pen tool down over here. We're going to click on the edge of the layer 3 background to set a keyframe, and then we're going to click, hold, and drag down so that our opacity changes and slowly blends out. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start adding some other layers. Okay. So I'm going to take this break dancer doing flares, and I'm going to click, hold, and drag this. And actually, hold on, wait a second. I'm going to scroll down a little bit here, move this down. If you grab these right in between the audio and the video, you can drag and make some more headroom or space between in your timeline window. So now I'm going to click, drag the break dancer doing flares. And again, see how it's grayed and the arrow is pointing down. I'm going to move it so that it comes right to the edge of the where the opacity changed, and drop it on there. Okay, so now you should see the back break dancer on a white area. You're going to double click on that, and you're going to come to effects. You're going to go to video filters. You're going to go to key. You're going to hit color key and drag that and drop it right on top of the break dancer doing flares. Again, make sure that's double clicked. Come up to the viewer where the filters tab is, and in the color key you're going to click the eyedropper tool and then select the white, and you should see that the background is now showing through. If you have your feather way up to 100%, you're going to notice that there's a lot of opacity and the person looks transparent. What you want to do is bring that feathering all the way back to 0, and you should be able to see that all of a sudden you can see more of this white area. Where the tolerance is, if it's really low, if I want to bring that, see now I'm upping the tolerance and it's getting rid of some of the white edge that's around the outside. So you can play around with that a little bit so that you can kind of get a crisp, clear person. Okay, you can also do the edge, how thin the edge is, and you can play around with that a little bit as well. Okay, so I suggest bringing the feathering down to 0, bring the tolerance up a little bit. Now you've got your person breakdancing. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to take that layer, and since we already have added a color key to it, we're going to actually copy this layer by hitting Command C, and we're going to move our playhead to the end of this clip and hit Command V, and it should play right at the place it directly after that. Now I'm going to click, hold, drag this up. I'm sorry, I have to click the select tool. Make sure that the select tool is on, not the pen tool. I'm going to click, hold, and drag this clip up, and I'm going to drop it directly over the other clip that I had. Okay, so now I should have 2 clips when I move my playhead back, 2 clips right on top of each other. I won't notice they're right on top of each other until I move one of the layers off center. And again, make sure the image and wireframe is selected, and then I can click and drag and move that person over a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to just go through and I'm going to apply some different filters to these. So the first one I'm selecting, again, double click on it. I'm going to come down and where it says image control, I'm going to click on that. I'm sorry, where it says distort, I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm sorry. Click down to where it says stylize. Click on that one. These are a little bit more interesting. I'm going to do solarize. I'm going to click on that, drag it, drop it on one of those, okay, and notice how it changes and creates an interesting look. If I double click on it, I come up to where it says filters. You can see that solarize has been added, okay, and you can change the amount to the degree to which it is. Sometimes there's, with the filters, they have more different kind of parameters that you can play around with. So just add some kind of filter to it, then double click on the one directly above and try another type of filter. So I'll try one crystallize. That looks interesting. Click, drag, drop on top, and now I've crystallized that other character. Okay? Come back to the browser, grab the other dancer, ballerina, or if you've selected another dancer, or if you just use the same one. What you want to do is create another layer, okay? And you want to then inside this layer, because it has that white background, we want to make sure that we add that color key filter to it by going to key, color key. Once we've added that to it, we can then double click on it so we can see it referenced up here in the viewer. Click on the eyedropper tool, click on the area of white, drop down that feathering so it's at 0, bring up the tolerance so that we can see less of the edge. Okay, and then we can play around with it as well. Okay, the idea of this lesson is we want to just basically be able to play around with seeing varying dancers layered on top of each other spinning with a soundtrack in the background that ends kind of neatly. What I'd like you to do is at the end of your layer, as you've added a bunch of different people coming along this timeline, you can copy and paste this text again at the end. So it starts with dance and ends with dance. So you can do this by clicking on one of the layers, holding Shift, clicking on the other one so both of them are selected, hitting Command C to copy and paste, moving the playhead down to the end, hitting Command V to paste, and now we've added dance at the end. Okay? Again, you can trim up your psychedelic background layer. Okay? You can trim it up even more if you want to shift over. Again, clicking on a layer, holding Shift will allow you, so depending on how long you want your clip and how many dancers you have, you can move it. You can also, if you don't want to use the cut tool, you can click, hold, and trim from just dragging on the side to trim that down. Okay, so the idea is you want to play around with adding people, okay, moving them, trying them in different positions so that they flow through, and then add a soundtrack like you've done in previous lessons. So the effect at the end is just basically something that Mr. Megan has shown you as an exact clip, or you can look online and see in the New Media Arts video channel. Okay, so that's it.